Truth Seekers, welcome to What on Earth with your host, Nightwolf. This is episode number 4. If you haven't checked out our last 3 episodes, I recommend you do. There's some good material, some good information there for those of you that are into the UFO, UAP phenomena. And disclosure's coming, folks. It's just getting little by little. We're getting little breadcrumbs, and it's soon going to come to pass. But today's episode, we're going to talk about another subject, which is the world is watching everything that's going on between Russia invading Ukraine. So that's all you hear about. That's everything that's on the news and so forth. I don't watch much TV, but every time I turn on the TV or try to see what's going on with like local news or something, all you see is about Russia. So I really don't watch too much TV. I read a lot, and mostly if I do watch TV, it's sports channels. I'm a sports buff, big time into sports. So, but I also like to do research and seek the truth, just like some of you are out there that like to seek the truth and dive into the rabbit hole and get a more clear picture as to what things are being hidden from us. So I'm going to take it a little step here. We're going to talk about why Russia is invading Ukraine, the real true reason, and it's simply, in layman's terms, biblical prophecy has to come to pass. And we're going to discuss Ezekiel 38 in the Bible. Ezekiel was a prophet. He was the son of man, sent to send a message to the chief or the prince of Rosh, Gog, and the land of Magog. So we're going to get into some details there real quick, and so I can relate to you what I've discovered in doing some research on this, because I know that what's going on is God is allowing it to happen because it's His plan, and so far, prophecies in the Bible are 100% accurate that have taken place already. So this is what's supposed to be happening now. It's towards the end times. So let's get into it. All right. So we're going to talk about Ezekiel 38. Okay. And Ezekiel 38, verse 2, God commissions, his commission begins in verse 2, where he says, "Set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesied against him." So we know that Soviet Union collapsed back in 1991, where the Western world rejoiced because the Cold War was over. But now with Vladimir Putin, since he's been in power, his quote back in 2005, he said that the demise of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. And since he became president, all he's been doing is trying to recreate that geography of the Soviet Union. You got to understand, this guy was ex-KGB agent. So he was for Russia, for his country, for the Soviet Union. So throughout all these years, he's been just planning. And it's all part of God's plan. And God has been allowing him to grow and get into a position to be able to do what he's doing now, currently. So it's going to change the course of history, as it is already. And if you guys don't realize it, but he's a great superpower. And he's rising. And we're seeing that on a daily basis now. The Prince of Rosh, Ezekiel 38, describes vivid personality to appear on the scene in this end time. The Prince of Rosh, R-O-S-H, Meshech and Tubal, in the New King James Version. In modern terms, the Prince of Rosh could be said the Prince of Russia. So is Putin the prophesied Prince of Rosh? Well, that's what we're gonna get into here. Okay, it's easy to see that Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, is, if you read most of it, it's like an end time. It's a book related to the end times. So it's clearly end time prophecy in the book of Ezekiel. And then when we get into it, scholars, biblical scholars, if you do some research, Most of them generally agree when it talks about Gog and Magog. God tells the Son of Man to prophesy against him, and this is the Son of Man. We gotta realize the Son of Man is a messenger. He's playing a messenger role. It's not the Son of God; it's the Son of Man that's playing the messenger role here to prophesy against the Prince of Rosh. So Gog and Magog, if you do, most biblical scholars, when they do their research, and you go out through history and you take it back to BC, it kind of translates to, generally they agree that Gog is Russia and the land of Magog includes China. So the descendants of Meshech and Tubal have also been found together throughout history, which is in Assyrian and Greek histories. Meshech appears as Moshka or Moshki or Mushki. Okay, so that's Moschha, Moschhi, or Mushki. All names related to the Russian spelling of Moscow. Okay, in the east of the Ural Mountain lies the city of Tobolsk, named after the Tobol River, derived from Tubal. Now, Tobolsk was once the seat of Russian government over Siberia, and was basically considered Russia's Asian capital. So the verse also mentions another Russia people with the Hebrew word Rosh, R-O-S-H. The King James Version translates this into the adjective chief, but the correct rendering used by the Moffat, New King James, and others use the word as a proper noun, Rosh. The verse should read the Prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal. Rosh was the ancient name of Russia, once called Rus, R-U-S. So who is this Prince of Russia, Moscow, and Tobolsk? The use of these three names shows that this man rules all the peoples of Russia, from west to east. Okay, another indication that this is a specific individual that God commands to prophesy against him. So this is critical. Now, to do this job, this Son of Man, quote unquote, we must know who the man is, or at least have a very strong idea of who he is and what he's going to do. So, can you think of any politician who could fulfill the role for the Prince of Russia? What would you guys say? What would you guys say is the only person that can fill that role, the Prince of Rosh? I know one that comes to mind, and only one: Vladimir Putin. Okay, so now we're gonna see here that the Prince of Rosh is clearly a man with a lot of power, because in Ezekiel 38 says, "And thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal." Okay, Putin, "and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaw." Verses 3 and 4. So these verses reveal something extraordinary. So that it reveals that the Son of Man is going to have far more power. It's no power of his own, of course not, because he's merely a puny man or human being. But he will have the power of the Almighty guy behind him, because God has a plan. So, and as you know, he's not out by nations with great physical power. They all drop in a bucket. And you read that, you can read that in Isaiah 40:15. You'll see that God, no great superpower phases God. So we're gonna realize, if you start doing a little bit of history, you're gonna see that what did Russia do back in 2008, August of 2008? What did they do? They used military force to invade a former Soviet Union nation, which was Georgia. Okay, so he took over Georgia. Now he's trying to take over Ukraine, and it's all part of the plan, God's plan. Okay, so let's see here. The movement from Gog and Magog is building, as you all know. The scholar said that Gog is Russia and Magog is China. So those are the two superpowers that are aligning themselves together, And honestly, if you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, you're gonna realize that this is leading to the final war, the end of all wars, called World War III. You can call it that, but it's the final war for me, the final battle on planet Earth. Okay, so let's see here. This Bible has accurately prophesied the Prince of Rosh, which is Prince of Russia, that an Asian superpower will do battle in the final World War, which is what I just said, the final battle, and it's probably going to be Russia, China, Germany. Okay, you can probably throw Iran in the mix. You could throw North Korea in the mix, and watch out for Japan. That's 5 big superpowers. Okay, so this is all part of the great prophesized end times, where is the second coming of Jesus, and all this is entitled or being put together for that prophecy to come true as well, his second coming. So when you see what's going on, it's just a sign that we're getting closer to that event. It's a step closer to that event. It's gonna be a while, but this is only the beginning. All right, here we go. So the prophesized prince, okay, back around in AD 90, okay, we see also John has a revelation to him. He's another prophesized. We all know Revelation is end time prophecy as well. So he records an amazing prophecy. Revelation 9:16. If you read, it says, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them." That means if you do your math, 200,000, that means an army probably of 200 million men, the largest army ever assembled on Earth. It tells us which nations will contribute soldiers to it. It shows it will include the combined forces from several Asian nations, and it refers to this Asian confederacy as the Kings of the East. Revelation 16:12. If you quote unquote, it says Kings of the East. It also reveals that we'll have one lead country and one individual at the head. Wonder who that is. When you study the scriptures alongside current events revealing modern Moscow's imperialist direction, you'll see that Putin could well become this leader of the Kings of the East. Okay, the gigantic army of the East that Revelation mentions. So he's going to be the head. I think I strongly believe that he's going to be the one leading, doing this. He's he's going to be successful because it's all part of God's plan. So, and like I said, you can go to Revelation. You'll see details about this army. They're revealed in passages such as Revelation chapter 9, Revelation 16, Daniel chapter 11, Jeremiah chapter 50, and Joel chapter 2. So these are just some of the verses you can read. It's all over the Bible. You just gotta do your homework and read the verses, and you'll see what God is doing. So here's some notes that I took here. I don't know if you guys know about this, but Russia has supplied China with many military armaments over the last decade or so. Also helped the Chinese go nuclear as well, if you do a little bit of homework there. So you can see that Russia and China have been aligning themselves together to work together to bring down to be the superpowers of the planet and take control. There's other powers that are going to be involved in Ezekiel's prophecy, okay? Besides the Russian-led army, it talks about Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, and Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people, and we'll see that you see that in Ezekiel 38 as well. And Gomer, I think is if you do some research, if you take it back, it's kind of all points towards Japan, which if you do your homework, Japan has the world's most advanced weaponry and technology. And a lot of people don't realize that. So once you see that Germany and Japan, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I think Germany and Japan want to rebuild their armies. I wonder why that is, because it's part of biblical prophecy. So that's going to happen, folks. It's just a matter of time before you're going to see Germany and Japan start rebuilding their military and start increasing their power on the scene as well. Okay, so this is more or less what I wanted to relate to you guys today on this episode. Just to give you a quick background of what's really going on. And it's not about, I mean, they're making this guy, they want this guy's head on a platter, but eventually none of that's going to happen because this is supposed to happen. And the reason he's getting away with a lot of things is because it's all part of God's plan, and he is the icebreaker that's going to lead the army. So he's the head of the kings of the East. So be ready, because a lot of things are going to keep on coming, happening, and passing as time goes by. And you guys are going to see that the Bible is accurate in its prophecies of what's going on now. So if you have any questions or comments, you can shoot me an email. I list my email down. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Becoming welcome to the What.on.Earth family as a new subscriber. And if you are already a subscriber and a follower, appreciate the support. And once again, you're listening to What on Earth, episode number 4, with your host, Nightwolf. All right. Thank you. Be safe. And God bless. Nightwolf, over and out.